Well, we're back in the kitchen. We've had ongoing discussions about dessert and Valentine's Day, and I don't think there's anything better for dessert than an after-dinner cocktail.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
What are you going to make for us?
Well, we're going to make our slow and low sidecar. And what's unique about this, we're actually the largest seller of this slow and low rock and rye. It's out of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It's kind of like an old-fashioned in a bottle. So it's got the rye whiskey, but also infused with orange and honey and things like that. So, yeah, we start out with a little bit of that, about 1.5 ounces of that.
What a name. I really like that name. I'm one of those people that chooses things by the name, like my nail polish, my alcohol, my drink.
That's right.
Now, is there a reason why you're drawn to the rye whiskey as opposed to, say, Kentucky bourbon or something?
Well, I think it's one because this one's infused for one. But, yeah, you could do it with bourbon, things like that. But I like the rye because it's got a little bit more, I want to say, spiciness to it. It stands up to the cocktail a little bit, especially since, we're going to add a little bit of Grand Marnier. It's a little sweet. It's got cognac. It's got an orange liqueur infused with cognac. A little bit of simple syrup just for a little bit extra sweetness. And then a little bit of fresh lime to kind of cut it, and a little bit of sour in there. And then a little bit of Angostura bitters, which just kind of mellows it out, gives it a little complexity.
It smells good.
Yeah.
And again, you can tell the man knows what he's doing because he didn't measure anything. It was all eyeball, and that's that's
he just poured it all into.
Well, it's just that's an artist at work.
It is.
Good
Well, we've
stuff.
made a couple of them for sure. So, anyway, good shake. And then this one, personally, I actually kind of like it on the rocks. I call it the slow and lower, but generally at the club we do it as a martini.
Ooh, pretty.
Kind of a pretty color,
It's a
right?
good color, yeah. Gosh, that smell is so nice.
And then a little bit of orange in there, and
There you go, Kayla.
give it a holler.
Oh, sorry, did you want some, George? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was actually preparing myself to be kind of taken back because I was going to be really strong, but that's the perfect. I would drink this whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's got a little bit of
Perfect.
sweetness, a little bit of mellow, a little sour. So
You're a man of many talents
Well.
because, you're good in the kitchen, you're good as a bartender, and you're an amazing trumpet player. Now tell me, after a couple cocktails, do you get even better at playing the trumpet?
well, I certainly think so. Yeah. I'm not sure about those around me, but I certainly love it.
So we've got a big event coming up tomorrow at the Jazz Kitchen. We've still got a few tickets left for the second show with Pavel and Direct Contact. But on a typical night, if I'm in there in the Jazz Kitchen, what's the vibe like? What are the cocktails like?
Well, we have a list of about maybe 15 signature cocktails, ranging from anything from gin to vodka. Obviously, bourbons are really big right now.
Yeah.
Been a really resurgence of old fashions. But what we really pride ourselves on, we're kind of a classic jazz club. You come in with your date, you sit down, you have dinner, get a couple cocktails or a bottle of wine, enjoy great music. It's a fantastic date night, and I always say really the best part about it, if you're especially on a first date, you can either listen to the music, or if things aren't working out real well, you just listen to the music, or you can both enjoy it. It's kind of interesting as we're around Valentine's Day, just the number of people that have met. Maybe their first date was at the club or met at the club. Now they're married, they got kids and things like that. So it's a fun part of the job.
Hit up the Jazz
Well,
Kitchen.
and that's such a good point, though, because I think a lot of us have been on awkward first dates, and if you've got good entertainment, that makes that awkward first date somewhat less awkward.
Yeah, that's
It gives you
absolutely
something
right.
to talk about for sure.
That's
or
right, that's
not
right.
talk about. You just look at.
So you've been on an awkward first date, huh?
Never.
There are horror stories.
That's a story for a different day.
Next segment, yeah.
Isn't jazz kind of famous for a lot of improvisation?
Absolutely,
And so
yeah.
you would really never see the same show twice, right?
That's right. Yeah, even if it's the same performer, you're going to get a different take almost every time. Sometimes the personnel in the band change up a little bit. A lot of times they're not going to play the exact same show. Especially in a club like ours. You go to a stadium, they're going to probably play a lot of the same songs. But, at the Jazz Kitchen, that's the epicenter of what improvisational is, or, not necessarily at the club, but jazz is that epicenter. I mean, it's that freedom, it's that ability to put on a little different take each night. Maybe a musician's feeling a little more upbeat, a little bit more melancholy, and that's reflective in the music that night.
And pulling back the curtain a little bit, before you all performed Oye Mamacita, Pavel was kind of taking who wanted to do a solo.
That's right. Yeah.
And some of you wanted to, and some of you didn't.
Yeah, and that'll change almost every time a person plays, or it may it comes kind of naturally. It may feel like, hey, it's nice, we'll pull it back, maybe it's a nice bass solo, or maybe we need to ramp it up and it's a drum solo. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this music, is you don't hear the same show
and because of that, do you get a lot of regulars, if you will?
Got a ton of regulars, yeah. I mean, they really help keep us alive and things like that. But they're also curious. We bring a lot of national acts in. There's a lot of people that are very well known, but there's also a lot of up and coming performers that are going to make their mark on the world. So they're kind of interested at all those different levels. And we hope also people, it's funny, the hardest part of my job is just trust, right? And so, a lot of times in jazz, you don't necessarily know, whose name's on the marquee, but at some point you just got to trust us. We're not going to put a terrible band in front of you. So, that's, what we want people to think of.
Can I just say something? You guys are doing a great job with the interview. Yeah, I'm enjoying listening to you. I got tired of staring at the cheesecake. I have